Hello, everybody. This is Swati, live from Los Angeles, 7 p.m. August 30th. Yesterday, I had to record my session, but today I'm making sure that I am coming on live. This is the last week of our camp. Can you believe it? We have already been together for 5 weeks and we have covered a lot of ground. And we have one more week to cover the rest of the material. Now, let me tell you what I would like to cover. Yesterday, I did talk about two types of meditations. In the area of mindfulness meditations, there are two ways to meditate. One is focused attention, and the other one is open monitoring. Focused attention is what we have been doing. We choose breath or body parts or whatever we want to focus on, and then we focus on that one thing. It increases focus and concentration, awareness, and all these cool things. Open awareness or open monitoring, on the other hand, you don't fix one point, but you open up your attention and you notice whatever body sensations or feelings and thoughts that are brought into your attention. Whatever comes into your attention, you attend to that for some time. But I don't want to get more into open monitoring meditation today. Before we do that, I would like to talk to you about feeling awareness meditation. Let's postpone the discussion of or doing OM or OA, open monitoring or open awareness meditations, for next couple of days. After next couple of days, today let's do a feeling awareness meditation. Before we get into feeling awareness, there's one thing from neuroscience that I have to mention. There's one scientist who has been a pioneer in starting the neuroscience studies in the area of mindfulness meditation. And without mentioning his name and without talking about his work, I cannot proceed. His name is Dr. Richard Davidson. He works in University of Wisconsin, Madison, and he was one of the first scientists who attended His Holiness Dalai Lama's conferences, and he started working with the brains of long-term meditators. After that, he also started studying the novice meditators or short-term meditators to actually use neuroimaging studies. So he was one of the first ones who started these kinds of studies. And then another person who we have talked about quite a bit is Sarah Lazar from Harvard. So in terms of Dr. Davidson's work, I would like to give you a link for those who really want to go deep into the teachings of some of these well-known researchers in the area of mindfulness, and also those who talk about how to transform your mind and your brain in order to get the benefits of mindfulness meditations. So let me share this link with you guys. This actually is a series of interviews conducted by Rick Hansen, who himself has written books about neuroscience of meditation, and he has conducted 6 interviews, 7 if you count his own talk, so series of 7 interviews. Dr. Richard Davidson's interview in that is what I really want to tell you about. So I will first share the link for all these interviews. Oops, that's not it. Let me go back to the right link. Okay, the compassionate brain. So that's what it is called, the compassionate brain by Rick Hansen. So Sounds True is the nonprofit that puts out these different videos and interviews and so on. Compassionate Brain is the series by Rick Hansen. There are 7 interviews. They are free, but you just have to register. So it is sort of like the type of work that I am doing. So I would like to show you Dr. Davidson's interview. Okay, so this is Rick Hansen, and he interviews Dr. Richard Davidson. And which is session 2, not session 2, sorry, session 1, how mind changes the brain. And Richie Davidson basically says, I'll show you here, perhaps the most valuable result of our new discoveries about neuroplasticity is that it helps us bring our brain into harmony with the greatest virtues of our heart. And that's why it's called Compassionate Brain, this whole series. So it's a 1 hour long interview. So it is not for people who just want quick sound bites, but if you really want to get into the interview, I find this whole series, but specifically Dr. Davidson's interview, to be really wonderful. It was recorded in 2012, but it's still available. So you just have to register it. The other thing I want to talk about is this book. I think I had mentioned it, The Brain That Changes Itself. Those of you who want to know about neuroplasticity, this is not about meditation, but this is just the idea that our brain is changing even beyond the age of 24, 25. So Dr. Norman Deutsch, this book became really well known, The Brain That Changes Itself. It's a easy read and interesting read for those who want to know about neuroplasticity. Again, this is not about meditation only, but I still just would like to ask you guys to read it if you're interested. Okay, so now let's get back into our feeling awareness meditations. FAM has given the link, it seems, to Compassionate Brain. Thank you, FAM. Okay, so for how many more days will the recorded session be available? That's what Roshni is asking. There is no limit. As far as I know now, we are not, the recorded sessions will be available. You have the table, which means that you have already registered for this mindfulness camp. And once you register, then you get the table. So you can use that table anytime you want. You just click on the given box and you will get the recorded version. So that will be available at all times. Whether right now, whatever I'm talking to you is already being recorded on YouTube. So that's how you get to you will get to watch the recorded sessions. Now, the only thing is you'll have to register because it's not available for public. It's available as a private link to you guys who have registered for the camp. So feeling awareness meditations are, just like the name says, to be aware of our feelings. This is not exactly a one-pointed, single focused attention meditation because we are going to pay attention to our feelings. So to a certain degree, it will have to be a little bit more open. How do you exactly pay attention to your feelings? Whatever we have done so far is actually was preparing us to do this meditation. So you are going to first of all be aware of what you're feeling now. When you start meditating, pay attention to what I'm feeling now. Feeling and thoughts are different. So right now I'm talking about just the feelings, which is typically 1 or 2 words. I am feeling such and such. Happy, excited, anxious, fearful, hopeful, whatever it is that you're feeling. A thought will be much longer and it will be analysis, description. But right now we are not getting into thoughts. You're just going to find out what you're feeling now. Once you know what you're feeling, give it a name. Not just, oh yeah, this is what it is. It's whatever, I'm feeling this. But pay attention to your feelings and give it a name. So that's called labeling. So happy or happiness or fear, restlessness, anxiety, whatever you're feeling, give it a name and say that in your own mind. And once you do that, in some sense, what you're doing is you're shifting to the language part or the left hemisphere of your brain. So you're creating a little bit of a distance or a little bit rational view of the feelings. That's why labeling is supposed to be an important activity. Once you label it, notice the way the body is feeling. If you have been doing the meditations so far, you should be more aware of how all feelings are playing in your body. It doesn't mean each and every feeling will have something very different, but typically speaking, when you're happy, warm and comfortable, excited will be warm, but it may not be as comfortable. There'll be a little bit of a dancing kind of a feeling in your body in some parts. Fear and anxiety, heart will be racing, or in the head there'll be this busy feeling. So whatever it is, notice how your body is feeling. This is an important step, because that's the way you are going to get familiar with your feelings, both mind and body. Some people are already so attuned to their body. As soon as they feel anxious something, their body feels or reacts very strongly. Some people may even get into panic attack mode. Now, if you have a severe reaction to anything like that, if you have that tendency, again, as I have said before, seek professional help. And instead of looking at your anxiety, you may want to just focus on your fingertips or on your toes. If you are really courageous, you may want to tell yourself, okay, so I'm anxious, I'm almost panicking, but this is just a feeling. It's going to come and it's going to go. So let me face this tiger and look into into the tiger's eyes, and let me just go through it. This will pass too. So if you're really courageous, you can do that. But let's set aside those somewhat extreme feelings and cases. In general, pay attention to the body, and then pay attention to, is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. No matter what we are feeling, what's important finally to us? Is it pleasant? Is it unpleasant? Or it is neutral? Is it neutral? How does my body feel and how does my mind feel? If it is pleasant, just keep saying pleasant, pleasant, pleasant. You're not analyzing it. You're not reacting to the feelings. You're just simply saying pleasant, 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 or unpleasant, unpleasant, unpleasant. This feels unpleasant, or neutral. Now, as you are noticing this pleasant or unpleasant or neutral and keep saying it to yourself, from time to time you will again go back to anxiety, anger, whatever it is, and pleasant, unpleasant. So, name of the feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Name of the feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Sometimes unpleasant may change into neutral, or it may change into pleasant. You don't know that right now. So let's just do this today, and then we'll get more into what it means and all that tomorrow. I have some comments before I get into the meditation. Let me see if it is anything. Okay, Enrique. Yeah, thank you for most this important information, Enrique. I assume what you mean by the fact that you can basically click on the table and then you will get the recorded version. As I said, forever from what I know, um, barring unforeseen circumstances. And Rohit is saying, I love your sessions. Thank you very much. And I have received a lot of validating emails from a lot of you about how this has made a change in your life towards feeling positive, feeling hopeful, making a change. And I want to thank you for sending me these emails, because that's what makes it worth it for me to spend all this time with you and to try to talk about this wonderful idea of mindfulness meditations. So let's start our feeling awareness meditation. So let's close our eyes. And I don't have a gong with me. I am not at my own house. I'm somewhere else right now. So you are not going to get the gong, but I will just tell you when to start the meditation. Take a few deep breaths. And let's start our meditation. First, pay attention to your breath for a while, for a short time. And now pay attention to what feelings you're feeling and give it a name. If you're feeling more than one feelings, then name both of them or three. If it is a mixture of more than three or four, you may not want to attend to all of them, just take the few prominent ones, but label them. If you're not sure, just say unsure, uncertain, I'm feeling unsure. And now pay attention to your body and see how these feelings are, how your body is reacting to these feelings. How are you feeling in your body? Pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? Is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? Bring your attention back to feelings. Is it pleasant? Just keep saying to yourself how you're feeling, if it's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Repeating it to yourself and observe whatever you're saying. You're observing what you're feeling, you're observing your body, and then you're saying pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Observe your mind for feelings, then observe your body for the sensations from the feelings, and then pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Just go through that mind, body, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Repeat pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, and then again go back to mind, body, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Bring your attention back to your mind, then your body sensations, and then pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Just observing, not trying to analyze. Something may suddenly show up in your mind. Some answer or some analysis may suddenly show up, but you're not sitting there in order to analyze. It may just fall into your lap while you're quieting your system and just watching your feelings. First mind, then body, and then is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? And now bring your mind back to your breath, breathing in and breathing out. Paying attention to the breath. And say the line 3 times in your mind. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. And now with that, we are going to end the meditation. So open your eyes slowly at first and then all the way. So what you just did was mindfulness of feelings. The way it typically goes is you learn about breath awareness and body awareness, and then you get into feeling awareness, because it's a harder meditation unless you have the training into the first 2 steps. Anu Radha also says, we like your session. Wow, I'm getting a lot of validations today. That's nice. And Lou is saying, I find sometimes when I do things that in study, I may suddenly think of a message I forget to reply, or an important to do on my calendar that I should do. Are these mindless thoughts? Shall I do it, ignore it, or continually mindfully study? Um, that's a good question. Now, in general, of course, it would depend on how important that other thing is. Let's say you have forgotten and it had to be done yesterday, and you had forgotten and you have to do it right now. And if you mindfully say, okay, I need to attend to that right now, go attend to that, and then come back, of course, it's okay. But in general, what mindfulness meditations are teaching you, knowledge that you can translate in your life, is whenever you're working on anything, it could be a project, it could be a goal, it could be whatever it is. When you're working towards it, your mind will wander around. It will get tempted to do other things, either out of stress or out of urgency or whatever it is. But if you really want to learn to focus and concentrate, you come back to your task when you realize, hey, I was wandering around, or hey, this is what's going on. This will pass too. Any other feeling or thought arises and it will go away. So to be aware of it and train your mind to come back to your task on hand. So that's what, in my view, in normal life, this is something you learn that has been very valuable for me. And and again, I have said that hundreds of times. I'll say it 101 times. It may not be always pleasant, but learn to sit through unpleasant feelings and transform them. It doesn't mean every time you meditate, it will be transformed. No, it doesn't mean that. By transforming, I mean you learn to sit through unpleasant feelings. And as we are doing these feeling awareness meditations, you will see some insights or some thoughts do drop into your lap. So then you will know what you want to do next. But for the time being, you have decided this is what I'm going to do. So keep doing that. Don't stray away from whatever you have decided till you get an insight. And then sit on the insight, sit with the insight for a couple of days to see if it makes sense. And then you, if you want to change course or do something else or whatever it is, I'm talking about a long-term point of view. But Lua, your question was, when I'm studying, should I do something else or not? It depends on how important it is. Usha wants to know, typically how much time should anyone set aside for mindfulness practice besides being mindful every minute of the day? Okay, Usha, in fact, being mindful every minute of the day, um, I want to question that part a little bit. You are not going to be mindful every minute of the day. We do need to do multitasking. That's the way our lives are set. We may be doing things that are like from the brain stem, like driving or things like that. It will be hard to be mindful. In fact, if you're playing tennis and if you're mindful of each and every stroke, you may not play good tennis. So I mean the things that you want to do in life, where you need, and also by doing certain things mindfully, you enrich your experience. Now you also want to know how much time to set aside. Now if you talk, like if you are talking to I assume what you mean minimum time, because maximum, yeah, I mean people will tell you meditate for 1 hour, 2 hours. The Dalai Lama, he meditates 4 hours every morning. But we are not talking about that, I assume. So minimum, start with 2 minutes a day. Most studies focus on at least 20 minutes. The studies show 20 minutes, and let's say 5 times in 1 week is enough to get the benefits. But if you ask any teacher, they will tell you start at any time you want. If you have just 2 minutes on a specific day, do it only for 2 minutes. But besides, I'm going to do it for 2 minutes and meditate for 2 minutes. So anywhere from 2 minutes to 20 minutes, I would say would be fine. In addition to meditating, you can do a couple of activities mindfully, like cup of tea, couple of sips, not the whole tea if you don't have time, just couple of sips, couple of minutes in the shower, or couple of minutes when you're walking or exercising. So just do that. I hope I have answered that question. And I need to say bye to you now.